What's your definition of a single mom?
My definition is the one that where there's no other parent involved
Hey,
at all.
hey,
Y'all about to, where's my
because all it is a play on words.
Yep.
And if you change the words around as a mother who is single, that's way different.
Says who? Where's the definition that single mother who is single? Can I say this? Co-parenting can be really, really challenging. And it can be a thorn on your side, dealing with the person that you once had an affection for, and now you decide to remove them from your life. But because you have a child, you're always going to be a part of your life. And now you have to manage the child and how you communicate, boundaries. And it's really a challenge on both sides. So as you guys might have watched, we did co-parenting part 1 with the ladies. And today we're doing co-parenting with the dads. So today I'm excited. I've got my cousin Phil with us all the way from Dallas. And then of course, my friend Milton here in Chicago with me. And so we're going to talk a little bit about co-parenting from the dad's perspective. And I know you guys are both dads and you have a lot to say. So let's get into it. So as you can imagine, of course, managing kids in a co-parenting environment can be tough for many reasons. One of those I've noticed a lot of times dads and moms both are always trying to prove themselves, right? Like, oh, I did this, I did that. And, one thing I quickly learned is that you can never, outdo one. Like I can't be my kid's dad, right? And my ex-husband cannot be my kid's mom. And so it's always a balance. And I think it happens in part back and forth. But I'm curious from your perspective, how do you manage and not feel like you have to compete with their mom for that relationship and for that, what you do for the kid in your co-parenting navigation? So how do you feel like you manage that, or do you manage that well?
Is this for me or Phil?
Either one. Who wants to go first?
How you feel, Phil? You want to go?
I'll go. I'll jump out there. It's for me, it's just do what I know what to do. Like keep it simple. I mean, sports, for instance, I know what I would like to see out of my son's athletic life. I also know that comes with a balance with his education. So we all know we need to read a little bit at night, whatever book they take out the library. He's 6. So it's kind of simple from that regard. We know if he got a project or some homework, whoever has him that week, leads that assignment or whatever it is.
Right.
Spelling tests, whatever, anything, little homework assignments, cue cards to read with words. But then there are pieces of it that I'm going to just be better at handling or doing out the gate. Like I said, athletics, that's one. Video games, that's 2. So sneakers. Yeah. I know what I know based on how I grew up and things that I've always loved as the inner child of myself. So don't even shy away from it. Just let him experience that, and he's gonna find his own way with certain stuff. So just keep it as simple as possible.
What do you do when the kid says, my mom bought me these shoes? Like, I know you're a sneakerhead, right? Of course, in Detroit, we call them gym shoes. But let's say his mom buys him some shoes and you're like, dog, that's my department, right? And he really likes them. Like, how do you manage, and he's going to wear the shoes and he's going to grow out of shoes in 5 minutes either way. But sometimes I can say for me, sometimes I'm like, they're like, my dad do this, my dad did that. I'd be like, okay, I'm happy for you. That's great. Yeah. But then sometimes don't forget, I do stuff for you too. Yeah. Do you ever feel like, Milton, that you have to like, that's good. I'm happy that your mom did that, but don't forget, I love you. I do X, Y, and Z. Do you feel like you have to do that?
Well, I don't know. We're talking about clothes. I got a little girl. So
okay, you got a girl.
I have no problem. You know what? That looks way better.
Yeah.
The things that your mother picked out, this is what I picked out. And sometimes you just have to be honest. Look, the little girl like this better. All right. So maybe that's gonna be mother's department going forward.
Yeah.
Let her pick out all these clothes. Because the kids are honest.
Yeah, that's true.
You want to wear this? I'm gonna wear this what mommy bought me. So after you get your feelings hurt a couple times, you'll get in like, all right, look. I'll take heed to the kid. If she likes this better, it is what it is.
Right.
But I think going back to your original question, I come to it with a concept of a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can give her certain things, her mother can give her certain things, but I have to understand that her mother can't be me and I can't be her, right? So she needs both of us. So we're trying to cultivate a child to be a productive citizen in society, right?
Right.
So I have a viewpoint as a man, she has a viewpoint as a woman, and we need both of them. So I can sit back and say, all right, this is your mother's thing, or this is my thing. But we try not to bump heads just because we understand she needs both of us.
Right.
Yeah.
Now y'all both are saying things that sound very logical. Y'all both, Phil and Milton, in both of your beginning of your co-parenting situation, y'all started there? Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't start there. It took me a minute to be like, you know what I mean? So it didn't day one, ex-husband's gone, it's me and the kids, and it was like, oh yeah, we've got this team thing down and we got it all figured out. Like, nah, it took a minute and we bumped our heads. So I mean, did y'all come out the gate like, okay, we are split, we good, we know how we doing it, or did it take a minute to get there?
So for us, it took a minute, right? Okay. So two things that I can say that happened. One, I was blessed with a lot of great men around me who gave me advice, and their kids were much older. So they've been through the whole thing from the beginning to the end. So they'll tell me, look, let that go. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Keep the main thing the main thing. I did therapy as well.
Okay.
So after we split, therapy was extremely important.
Right.
So day one, they was like, look, you got a little girl. There's going to be some stuff that little girl's going to need a mother.
Yeah.
Like, menstrual cycle, stuff like that. Boy, like, she does not want to hear that from you.
Yeah.
And so from the jump, I was like, well, okay, all right. So let's get on the team. Let's get on to give the best opportunity
for your daughter.
For this daughter.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had older guys who were like, yeah, I went through this. Yeah. This is how I do it. Look at this, look at that, and do it like that.
Yeah.
So I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything. Okay. So I try to listen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a process, though.
It is a process.
That stuff don't come day one.
And you still have feelings. So it is some stuff you like, oh, your mama.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still I mean, you go through that, but you gotta let that go after a while.
For sure.
Because that's personal stuff.
Yeah. Right. It's not necessary for the benefit of the kid. What about you, Phil? You day one, you jumped out of the gate, you a teen, you had it all figured out?
I had nothing figured out. Because when Mason came into this world, we weren't together. But I was involved from the cutting of the umbilical cord, regardless, from a father perspective. But later on, within those first months, and you got a lot of the mama bear instincts were front and center. And just like Milton said, you kind of get advice from people that's from the outside looking in with some wisdom, like don't fall into those traps, because a lot of it is hormones all over the place, or it's emotions all over the place, or it's the nesting aspect that is kind of void from the situation. So there are things out of my control, except the only thing I can control is how I react to it. So maintain, like you said, keep the main thing the main thing, and that's the support of the child, and just bite the bullet on certain stuff. And the thankful part with me is, like, maybe unlike a lot of situations, I never had a mediator or a judge involved. I just knew the parent from the gate, and I don't want nobody telling me how to and what's best for our work schedules. And really mainly what's the work schedule part.
Yeah.
As long as we can stay level-headed on that, then the rest of it is smoothed out. And it's been like that. So, I've changed. I've worked a second shift schedule, a third shift schedule. And then it balanced out to where I was primarily working from home the last couple of years. Yeah. So I could keep my son 7 days, sometimes 8. You know what I'm saying? Depending on if she got to work her other job on like a Saturday or something, and it ain't my week per se, I get him. Whatever. What's the worst he gonna do? Go to the gym with me or go kick it with my mama for a minute? Like, nah, it's no big deal. I'm not babysitting. That's my child.
Not babysitting.
Not at all.
And I think that's the thing too, because a lot of times it's like, we be counting days. Like, wait a minute, now, this was your weekend. This is my weekend. You take it to, So it's a process till you get like, you know what? It doesn't even matter. In a few minutes, these kids are gonna be in college, and we're gonna have to just push through it, right? All right, so now I got my favorite question. You ready, Milton?
Yeah.
My favorite question, Phil. So, I was told by a friend that because my ex-husband is involved in my kid's life, and and has my children for a portion of the time that I am not a single mother. Okay. And so I want to know, of course, I already know what you think. Do you agree? And if not, how do you define single motherhood? And likewise, right? If that's the case, are you not a single dad? So I'm gonna go with Phil first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
your definition of a single mom?
My definition is the one that where there's no other parent involved
at
all.
Hey,
y'all about to? Where's my
because all it is a play on words, and if you change the words around as a mother who is single, that's way different.
Says who? Where's the definition that single mother who is single? Because the last I checked, whenever I fill out anything, nothing says single, divorce, widow, ex-husband helps.
But I think
don't worry about the semantics.
You're filling out a relationship status, not a parental status.
Okay. Right.
So I think what Phil is just saying, and I think we've talked about this before, single mother, single is your relationship status. But if you are in a co-parenting situation where you're not doing everything 100%, so if there's some type of joint co-parent, whatever, then to me, technically, you cannot be single. Now, there are some people out here that are single parents, meaning they get absolutely no help whatsoever.
No help.
And I would never even want to even sound like that's what I'm saying when we have a joint situation where it's 50-50. But it's people out here that are truly a single parent. So I think the single goes in front of parenting. So we're talking about the parental side of it. Now, whether your relationship status is totally different. You can either be single. What would you say the boxer said? Single, widow. Yeah, that's a relationship. That's not asking about your.
That's my thing. I'm not going around like, oh, I'm a co-parent. I'm a co-parent. No, I'm single. I'm a single mom. I also don't go around saying I'm a mother that's single. I'm a single mom. I'm a single mom because at my house, I pay all the bills. It's a single income home. I take care of everything. And their dad does not do everything. And the decisions that I make for my kids or not for my kids, I'm not calling and say, hey, can I do this? Hey, I need to do that. And in my situation, there's no child support. There's no financial. I got to do it all. So either it rises and falls at my house.
At your house. And then how often do you have them?
Well, 50-50.
Oh, so
they with me, they 100% with me.
We get you, but I think my example of a single parent is there's no 50-50. You got them all the time. Ain't no help coming, none of that. So
I agree.
If you got a situation where it's joint, and I get everything you saying, in your household it's ran like that, but in his household it's ran like that. And 50% of the time the kids get that, and 50% of the time they get you. So to me, you're not a single. You're not a single
I'm
mom.
a single mom.
But you have the right to be whoever you want to be.
That's who I am. And I don't care what y'all say. I'm a single mom and I make these decisions.
Look, if you want your
decisions are not a joint decision. The finances are not a joint financial decision. Like, if my kid wants to do something and their dad doesn't want to pay for it, I got to pay for it. So just because he's over there 2 days a week doesn't mean, my kid wants to play football. Dad says, no, well, definitely not football. That ain't going to be applicable in my house. But let's say it's baseball, right? Dad doesn't want to pay for baseball. I'm going to pay 100% for baseball, right? And so it's just, every home is different. Every relationship is different. But
does dad pay for anything? Like when the kids are there, does dad pay for groceries at his house? Does he pay utilities? Like,
try not to say things to you. Oh, he pay groceries.
So when he has the kids and in his custody or however you want to put it at his house, he pays for the things for him and the kids.
Yeah, I just don't think that my definition of my parenting is defined by where my kids are. Because my kids could be with their grandmother. I'm still their mama.
Are you a single mother if your kids with your grandmother?
Yeah, I am. Maybe I am. Maybe that. I just
Phil, I'm done, Phil.
Of who's taking care of the kid taking care of a child is multifaceted, right? It's not just finances. It's not just at the house or where they are, where they lay their head at night.
Or it's not just a single person.
Or decision.
So I got one last part.
Yeah,
I got one last part to add to that, because the connotations of single mom come with several other layers that state
that are negative.
Dad ain't there. Where the daddy at?
Right.
Ain't no man in the house. And it can be a whole drastic situation.
Yes.
You know, from that. It could be on the other side of the spectrum, but it's always gonna look like, oh man, he done did this lady wrong or left him with these children and da. No.
You asked me, my ex-husband did do me wrong, if we put it out there.
No.
It's my
but
show.
we're talking in an objective. We're talking in an objective sense.
Correct.
That's what comes with that. Just like the term of baby mama, baby daddy, and this and that.
We're not using that terminology. We're not saying baby mama, baby daddy. We're saying, but you're right. The term single mom has a negative connotation. It does. But I don't have a problem accepting the fact that that's where I'm at, right? That's who I am. I don't know what else to call myself. So I'm married with kids. What is my title?
I'm
sorry. God, I'm not married.
I'm not. Just spoke something into existence. That's
we're gonna edit that. I ain't married.
Nah, we ain't edit. Don't edit that.
We gonna edit that out. I'm
mess around, be podcasting at her wedding next year.
Divorced with 3 kids. Okay.
Right.
What do you call me? Because if I can't be a single mom, then what am I?
A mother that's single.
No one says that.
Wait. Are we basing this on what a person says or the true definition?
I'm saying a woman's walking down the street. She's divorced with 3 kids.
That's what she is. Divorced with 3 kids.
So you call her divorced with 3 kids?
And what would you call her?
A single mother.
Okay. Well, once again, I believe
she's the only adult in the house running and making the decisions of that house, and she got kids.
Hey, I believe you have the right to be whoever you want to be.
So what do you call yourself?
Well, I'm in a co-parenting situation.
So you walk around and you say, I'm a co-parent?
Yeah. Or no, actually, if you say, I say, oh yeah, we got joint custody.
No one talks about custody.
Wait, you asked me what I
did.
Say,
that's what you say.
That's what I was.
All right, that's your answer.
Because I do want to make it clear, like, I have my child half of the time. Her mother has her half of the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know how any other way to convey that, but it's a joint situation.
Yeah, I don't even go custody. I'm not talking custody. I'm a single mom. Like I know, and you're right, Phil, it has a negative connotation. It don't bother me. That's who I am. That's the decisions we made. This is where we at. It's not a baby daddy situation. Yeah. The dad is involved. It's all of that. Like I don't have that issue, but this is the title. Like you can take whatever you want to take away from it. I'm not walking around saying I'm a co-parent. And I'm also not walking around saying my custody is my papers say. I'm not doing that either. Like,
so does dad define himself as a single dad?
I don't really talk to him. So there's that. Like we text what we need to text. I don't say, hey,
single dad.
Tell the world are you a single dad? Like, I really don't care that much.
That's a different conversation all in itself.
It sounds like
the divorce episode.
It sounds like it, Phil. We're gonna have to reel it back in.
Reel it.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on. So let's talk about what do you think has worked? Like you guys, Phil, you weren't married to Mason's mom, and Milton, you were married to your daughter's mom. What do you say? And it's a journey. Right. What are some healthy things that work? Or because you've got to hit some bumps along the way, right? What are some things that you learned or some lessons that you learned? Like I know some of you guys say some stuff you just got to give up. It's not worth it. This is your area. I respect it, whatever. But what are some healthy stuff that work with co-parenting? I will say, I'll go first while y'all think about it. I had to learn to get over me, right? Mm-hmm. And so part of me getting over me was I can't control what happens at the other house, right? We were in a joint home. We did things a certain way. Things made sense. Now there's another home that they spend half of their time, and that's not the way we do things over here. And I was trying to enforce these are the rules over there. And I can't control what happens over there. He's going to have his rules. He's going to do his thing his way. They're going to eat Cheetos for breakfast. And I have to let it go, And so I'll be like, you do what? But, and so I hear it and I'll be like, okay. And then as my kids of mine are 10, 8, and 4, at least with the 10-year-old and the 8-year-old a little bit, it's how do you have to respect your parent. I don't care where, who, what, you respect, period. But also making good decisions, right? And so how do you feel about that? Okay, well, you got to do what your dad says because you're at your dad's house, period, the end. But I hope at one day, like if mommy don't agree with it, I don't ever want to teach them disrespect or not to do it. Yeah. But man, when you get 18, we're going to have this conversation again because I want you to make good decisions because maybe that's not the best decision, things like that. So that's something I can say that I learned that I had to, okay, how do I teach them, but also not get in the way and not inflict, like when I don't like something, I don't want my kids to know because then they're going to go over there and be disrespectful. Right. Like that ain't okay either. Yeah. Right. So what's something y'all have learned?
Well, you started it off perfectly with the get over yourself aspect and kind of get a feel for what's most passionate to that other person from some of it is like childhood experiences or traumas that they want to avoid or lean into, and you just kind of and get a feel for it to say, well, I see that's important to her. I'll alter that to make sure that that's a smoother road to ride down the next time. It's always the next time with the parents and stuff. Right. So seeing little things that may irk her, it could be, or just try to stay on the same page as much as possible. So I think like recently we found out Mason wasn't eating his lunches that he was buying at school. Okay. And we had both fell off track with making the lunches collectively. So the teacher was like, he's buying lunches, but he's not eating them all. Mm-hmm. And he's not eating the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. So the teacher had enough to, she paid attention enough to let us know. But it wasn't like nobody was stealing his lunch and nothing crazy like that. He just wasn't eating it. Right. So it just came down to like, hey, you want us to stop making your lunch again, man? Yes. All right, well, ham sandwiches, we back to that again. So, but then staying on that pathway together and keeping a line of communication open to know what's better for the child. And that's ultimately going to keep that smoother for our sake as parents. And it's not, and I don't like that pushing and pulling when it come down to the betterment of a child. Like that's crazy because now you're trying to put yourself in front of the situation when it's really about the kid. Like, how are you making this about the kid if you're making it about you? Take your ego out the situation.
For sure.
Sure. Yeah. Before it build up, because then the little stuff could build up and then there's a blow up. So just do the little things up front a little better so that way it's not a pile of crap down the line when it's time to shop for Christmas toys.
We're going to talk about, because that ain't 50-50.
So before we get to that, I definitely agree with Phil. I think you keeping an open line of communication is going to be the best way, right? Mm-hmm. So we're two totally different people, right? So we're going to think differently and everything else. So when you do see something you don't necessarily agree, we try to keep a united front because we know kids will try to manipulate whatever situation. You give them a crack, they're going to slide right in and bust it wide open, right? Absolutely. So we stay on the same page. Even if I see something or, we'll talk about it away from her and then we'll come back. But I'm always going to bag her. She always going to bag me, in front of her. And then we'll come back and we'll talk. Like we had a situation recently where we were both around her and she said, oh, this little girl said the F word. So I jumped. I said, the F word? Well, what's the F word? So her mother looked at me like, why are you asking her? And I'm like, I want to know what she's going to say. So she says it. She looked at me like, you happy? So maybe 30 minutes later, we talked about it. I was like, well, I thought I wanted to know because I didn't know if she knew. She's like, she know it. She listened to Beyonce and I see us pause when the curse words come out. So I'm like, I didn't know. I was like, well, I won't bring it up again. And boom, that was it. Yeah. So we got it out. So it's not, I'm holding on to it. And I'm like, well, why would you think that and everything else? And well, look, let me tell you something. When you're over your mama's house, don't do, Right. So no, let's cut this out because those kids, to me, are looking for any type of division or whatever, and they can pin you against each other. So we try to start that early. Yeah. So we are a united front from jump. you know, and that's taking your ego out of it.
Yeah.
And that takes a minute too, you know.
It's daily though, because the kids keep changing, right? As the kids get older, problems change and things change. I got a story similar, but I'm not gonna tell Josiah's story about what he said at school this week. Yell about it, had a lunch reflection. It's interesting, but it's forever changing, right? And so you have to consistently take your ego out, consistently remind yourself, like, okay, all right, is it really that serious? Do I really care that much? But what's something you maybe have been proud of that, you know, like, you know what, I'm doing my thing as a dad. There are, you know, there's no handbook on being a dad. All these kids come out different. You know, they're not doing the things we were doing at the age that we were doing it. But from a dad's perspective, what's something that you can say you're proud of?
Well, I think this might be a little superficial, but
it's okay. You can pat yourself on the back.
Look, when she was born, one of my main goals, like, I want to make sure I can do everything and know how to do it. And one of my goals in my mind was like, look, if your mama is ever out of town, I don't want to show up somewhere and somebody go, your mama must not be at home. Look at her, where you looking? So in my mind, I'm like, look, I want to make sure I can do this so we can go out presentable, even when she, you know, when she's with me. So we're able to do that. So I have some proud moments. You know, there's been some times when she was younger, I pulled off, you know, a hairdo, some ponytails, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, all right,
take a picture."
I mean, like a real moment. Like, man, I'm really proud of myself. You know, she's presentable.
Yeah,
ain't nobody can be like, "Well, your mom is, you with your daddy this weekend?" You know, so but yeah, so stuff like that for me, you know, really kind of, you know, like, man, I'm proud of myself.
Awesome.
So yeah, because I think a little girl is different. You know,
they are. I don't have girls,
and it's gonna change. That's gonna forever change too. So I'm trying to stay in tune as much as possible now.
As long as you can.
Yeah, as long as I can.
Yeah, I don't have girls. I prayed for boys. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want to raise a little Brittany, because Lord knows.
Yeah.
Lord knows. So what about you? Look. Bill, what about you? What's something you're proud of as a dad?
A couple small things, like taking what my father and my stepfather, kind of taking little bits from both of them and giving it to my son, and being fortunate to have, you know, two dads, you know, and two that can show me different things. Like, my biological father was great with lawn care. That's a big deal. You know, especially looking into like how we're renting a home now, but we just moved a couple months ago, and to get into the flow of the maintaining of a home, whether it be the interior cleanup or, you know, of course, you always straightening up something inside the house, but then outside, there go be some things you want to look at least from a tidiness standpoint. You don't want to do too much outside of the house if you ain't buying it, but I know, like, tomorrow, I'm gonna have them out there with a rake, and we're gonna get these acorns piled up, because they falling off this tree, like a little stuff that you
need my address, because I'm not raking nothing.
No. Yeah, I'll let you segue back into that comment. But I would say little stuff like that. We share a love for cars, or like sports. Like, I bought him his first basketball jersey, and, you know, I'm a Pistons fan, he a Mavericks fan. We got it all figured out. Yeah, I've coerced him into being the Steelers fan already, so I'm gonna give him his first jersey this Christmas.
You know, the Lions doing good. We talking about the Steelers?
You know, the Lions have not ever really done good, like, ever. Do you know that?
I mean, but we don't know.
No. Y'all Lions fans can go on run all y'all need. I got out of that. Out of that when. Listen, this is when I start separating myself, Milton. Is when Barry Sanders retired and how ugly they did him.
Yeah,
they told him, either you could retire, you go play with us, or you go retire. We got your contract, and that was nasty. They did Calvin Johnson the same way.
Yep, messed up. Yep, two of the greatest to ever cut their career short like that.
It is
easily with poor management, poor GMs. And you making these two of the most electrifying players. And I was already a Steelers fan by the time Cal Johnson got there, but I would still watch the Lions. I still would watch them, you know, whatever. But and it's a polar opposite with the Steelers. polar freaking opposite with the Steelers. Like they bring the guys back
in how they treat their players. And
yeah, we didn't have the longest tenured black coach, one of the longest tenured coaches in the history of sports.
That's true.
Who got a Super Bowl ring with them and a lot of playoff appearances, no losing records, and an impeccable standing in the city of Pittsburgh and the state of Pennsylvania all together, like night and freaking day. Okay. But
go Steelers.
Back to the question. Back to the question.
This ain't the sports podcast. I know you run that.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're right.
But back to that. Back to the things that I found myself proud of is like being able to share those sports moments with them now a little bit more, and knowing that I don't have any kind of like the devices like that my dad maybe fell into that took away from him or hindered him from being a better father through addiction. Let's just keep it real, and how that got in the way of things that won't get in the way for me. Like I'm good. Like this is the most you go get out of me. Is a little drink.
A little drink. A little something.
A little drink. But I'm degreed. I'm moving and shaking in my career. I didn't switch careers because he was born into this world, and I wanted something that was less travel and all that good stuff, more steady in his life in that way, schedule wise. And I think lastly, the one thing that popped in my head to be proud of, and it's similar to what Bill said, but not as drastic because he got a little girl, but keeping his haircuts bi-weekly.
Yeah.
That's time. That's father-son time.
Okay. Now I'm glad you brought up here.
Wait. Hold on. Let me just say one other proud moment I have.
Oh, you got another?
Oh yeah, it's all about sports. So I love basketball, and I'm from Memphis. I root for the Grizzlies every night.
I don't know why. That's a painful thing.
Right now, we 25 games are waiting on Ja to come back. But listen, I
watch. You count them games.
It is, but I watch basketball most nights of the week.
Yeah.
So it's been times where game may not be on. I don't care too much about it. And my daughter walked up to me like, "We're not watching basketball tonight." So like this year, she's like into the score. So she's like, "Okay, who we rooting for?" Okay. I'm like, "Well, the Grizzlies not playing." She's like, "Which team?" Okay. And then she looks at the score, and then she give me 5 minutes. They score. She be like, "Yeah." Okay. So it's proud. So last year during the finals, we went over my cousin's house. I took her over there with me. His family, and she was right there watching the game with everybody else. Oh, that's cool. Everybody was amazed. She cheering for a team and everything else. Yeah. So I sat back and I was like, "Yeah,
you got you a little watching party."
Yeah. So she on it. Like, that's what's up. Yeah, that's a real problem.
I love that. Yeah, and when you can share those things with your kid and building those hobbies and things that you like together, and that's awesome. So tell me, not to get serious, but tell me what are some rules of the road for communication? I'll start. So for my ex and I, we typically use text. Text seems to work, and when he get out of pocket, we got the text from the court, like, oh, you want to cut up? Let's go to the paid one so the people can see what you're saying or what you're not saying. But text works for us. Usually because sometimes things get out of hand and we're not that far out, and so emotions can come in if you don't agree with how to do things. So for us, that is, and it's not just how you communicate, but do you like, we about to fight, and I will say in my situation when we talk, I'm like, oh, wrong road. We ain't. I left you for this. I ain't about to argue, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get back on text. So for me, I kind of govern a little differently when I communicate with my ex about the kids. We only talk about the kids. We won't talk about anything else. Do you guys have certain things like, this is how we're going to handle it? We set up a meeting, or we do this, or we do that. Like, is there something that works or doesn't work, or you have certain kind of boundaries when it comes to don't call me after a certain time, or we only do it this way, when it comes to communication about the kids? Either one of y'all can go.
I think for us, just direct, because a lot of stuff, communication, can get lost in text. So we're gonna pick up the phone. We're gonna talk. Let's figure this out right now. Yeah. Now, as far as like boundaries and stuff like that, and if I don't answer the phone and it's not anything serious, then I just didn't answer the phone. But if you call and it's something serious, then you'll follow with a text. Hey, we need to talk about this, and then we'll get to it. Okay. Well, rarely we do a lot in text. I think early we would do that, and we were missing each other bad. Like, what? I thought that's what you meant. That's not what you meant. So it's just easy to get on the phone. Or didn't want to bring this up, but because we have iPhones, we do iMessage, and then you can just leave a voice message.
We're not promoting the foolishness.
So,
Not.
but if you leave the voice message, you can listen to it and then move on. And then, okay, do I need to respond now or not?
Pause. So Android can do this.
No, not what
I'm not sure what Android can do.
I this week have recorded a voice message and sent it via text to a person. It does this. So this whole, iPhone only does this. I know that this is not what we're talking about.
Yeah, not at all.
But y'all don't convert me. I don't like the pressure. It's pressure.
Spoken like
Android is fantastic, takes fantastic pictures. They have better phones. And iPhone,
oh Lord, not the commercial.
They copy. Okay, we're moving on. So,
but yeah, direct communication.
Direct communication.
Like knock it out right now. Like don't let anything fester or anything like that. Just go ahead and have a conversation. And if we need to set, it's rarely do we need to. Is that serious? We got to set up a face to face. Like we're pretty on good terms. But I think because we addressed stuff initially, it's boom. Let's figure this out.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Plus, it's been really smooth communication wise, especially just something as simple as, hey, did you see the email from the teacher about the project that's due in a couple of weeks? And the obvious parts are going to be the scheduling of who's he with that week. And that's going to fall on the shoulders mainly for that person. But then it's like, all right, let's try to figure this out just so we, like in this case, what type of project we want to have him put out. And just again being on the same page, showing each other where you at, and in some cases, there's a good quick reminder that can be had to say, hey, the permission slip for da 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 is due. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I forgot.
Yeah,
it can be that simple. Or hey, I know you got him, but he got a soccer match on Saturday. Do you have this? Right. You got anything? Shin guards, socks, all that, cleats, blah 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 blah. Because people get busy, work get busy,
absolutely,
and you want to make sure as a team that y'all making sure he's set up or she's set up. You know what I'm saying, for success, or in your case, they, whatever, all encompassing.
Right.
And the kids don't care; they just need it done.
Right.
Yeah.
Daddy, where my ballet shoes?
Period.
Hold on.
Right.
Let me call your mom right now. I have no idea.
Right. Yeah. Let me ask y'all. So in the different households, like one of the things that I've experienced is, I bought this coat for the kid and this coat stay at my house. I bought these shoes and these shoes. Do y'all have?
No, we not like that. If she like them shoes, throw them shoes in the bag. She can wear them this week. Like that's nah.
I bought this. This got to come back to my house. I don't have
time for that because you bought it for the kids. So I'm not finna like if they
can't wear them.
If the child love that coat, man, bring that coat.
Yeah, because I can't wear it for a team. I ain't wore it.
So I don't even have time for that. Like, nah.
Okay. Okay. You do that, Phil?
Not at all. I think it was funny in the beginning, a couple of years. Okay, like going on 7, he'll be 7 in February. So let's say when he like 3, 4, like right around there is where I was notice like if he had a little bit of a growth spurt, maybe she sent the stuff that was too small. And in my mind, I'm like, why is she sending with this too little ass clothes on?
She keeping the good stuff for herself.
No. Our viewpoint of where his size is, and it's different. I'm in the viewpoint of he need to go a little more up so he got some space because I'm a man.
Gotcha.
And I know how we should be able to start putting these clothes on so he could grow into it a little bit, and then you buy ahead a little bit more. Like he's 6, but he needs size 8 and mediums, or for the big kids, he needs the smalls because, like I said. You go growing to him. He needs space to move around. He running, he jumping, he playing, he doing all this. And ain't no little boy got no business wearing no tight clothes. No way. That's crazy.
They got skinny jeans. I know we had a little conversation.
Yeah, no, thank you.
But you also don't need to wear clothes that are too big. Look like a whole nother person can get in them pants.
Well, that's a different thing, and it's not 1993. So look at him. This is
yeah, but that's real, right? Like some people like to wear clothes that are incredibly too large.
Yeah. Right. So
there go co-parenting right there. There it is. Yeah.
So in the
Hi,
end,
honey bunny.
Hello.
So in the end, it's just making sure that and then like you said, as far as that whole switching off clothes and I don't need to send this over there. No, send the clothes. You need the clothes. hoarding clothes ain't gonna help him.
Because they grow out of them like this, right?
Right.
And they gonna grow out
that
so
jacket if
fast.
you want to, they gonna wear it 3 times and it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you always get new clothes, right?
Go ahead, like, nah, Dad, you ain't bought me nothing in a long time.
Yeah, like he had on new clothes this
Christmas
week.
list. Oh, here we go. Mason, I'm gonna ask you a question. Mason, have you written your Christmas list yet? Oh, okay. Who are you gonna give the Christmas list to? Your mom or your dad? Who?
I don't know.
Oh, good answer. And who gets the better gifts, Mason, mom, or dad?
Daddy.
Ooh, look at the dad show. Go ahead, Mace. We love your mom. I love your mom. Hey, this is working out. It's working out. So that's the thing. I know my kids, they drive me crazy because they be like, Ma, you got to get the gifts. You got to. I'm like, that ain't fair. It is a single mom. I have to get the whole Christmas list, right? Nah, Dad ain't gonna get it. So can you just go ahead and get it? I'll be like, and then I'm on your son wants an iPhone, right?
Oh my God.
Can we go half on this, please? And thank you. Yeah. Because last year, I get no help. So, it's a process, right? And you grow into it. So I'm gonna ask just a couple more questions. I'm curious from your perspective, like being a dad and being a Black dad in America, right? Do you feel undue pressure? Do you feel like you have to prove anything? Do you feel like you have to do anything above and beyond that maybe your peers don't have to do as a dad, as a Black dad in America?
Well, for me, I try not to put that pressure on myself, right? So I think I'm one of those people that I'd rather show you by action, right? So instead of putting the pressure of the outside and everything else, if I just show up and do what I'm supposed to do, it'll work itself out, right?
Yeah.
So when my daughter was younger, like let's say maybe 3 or something, we'd be in a grocery store together, and you would see people just kind of like, ain't no mama around. Like it's just him and the little girl. Oh, okay. And and then you get it for a while, and then after a while, it's like, oh, okay, he can handle hers. Okay, it's not an emergency. This looks normal. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like I'd rather do it like that, just show by example, try to show up and be as the best dad as I can be.
Yeah.
And I think I'd rather be like that and as an example of a dad that's active and doing everything he can, as opposed to trying to figure out, am I checking this box off? Am I making sure it's looking like that? Because that's unnecessary pressure. It's already tough doing it alone. You know what I mean? So
did you say alone?
No, not alone like that.
Oh, okay. I just want to be clear.
Because it's only one dad. So doing it alone as the dad.
Oh, okay. Because you're not
not as a single dad.
Because you're not a single dad. Okay. I just want to make sure
it's a dad who's single.
Context.
But yeah. So it's I don't put that pressure on myself. It's just do what you're supposed to do, show up.
Yeah.
And people will see, Yeah.
That's what's up, Phil.
It's very similar. Again, despite when I'm saying I'm referring to my father and stepfather. Despite their issues or things they battled in their own lives, I had 2 of them jokers. So whatever little mental Rolodex I needed to lean on that I could put in my son's life or things I would have liked to have seen them do, I just incorporate it and move on. Because ain't no reason to harbor no, ill will to them my dad not put me in sports at 5. Like, no, well, if I would just do the opposite, just put your son in sports at 5.
Yeah.
Don't make this difficult.
Right.
Yeah, just do that. Just sacrifice your time for a few months to coach.
Yeah.
If you know that's a very impactful thing to do and you know that you can help develop your child on whatever field or court, just do it. I'm not second guessing being no father.
Right.
That's crazy to me. So as long as things aren't in the way like, work related, I'm doing that for my son. I don't need and I got great peers. Like I have friends that are really, really, really good fathers. Yeah. So I can lean on them for whatever they've been doing.
Yeah.
Man, all of the career stuff, balancing that with the fatherhood time. And having them travel a little bit last year. Just a lot of beautiful things. And I just look at it from a fatherly perspective. And then it's because somebody looking at me as a father.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at it just as linear as it can be, just from just being a dad, being the best father I could possibly be, and look ahead to the greater moments that are to come. Like, and being a Black father is already going to have its own, like, stigma within society, but man, who cares? The statistics are what they are. We involved. We out here.
Yeah.
In real life. So
I can say that I've seen more involved, and I don't know, I don't know if it's social media because we see more now and it was happening before, but it just seems like dads are so much more involved now than they were back when I was growing up. Like if a home there was division and somebody got a divorce, like you kind of saw the dad sometimes, but you didn't. Now you see the dads at the games, and the dads are coaching. The dads are at the parent teacher conference. And, it just seems like, there's so much more involved. And maybe to your point, Phil, is because then our generation is like, okay, look, what I don't want is what I experience. So it seems like we see that a little more now than maybe what we did back in the 80s or whatever. But what's something that your child has taught you? So as a dad or just as a parent, we won't go dads, whatever. Yeah. What's something that your child has taught you?
I think you want to go, Phil?
I could go. I already got it. My brain is already running that. Oh, patience, like a loving patience.
Man.
Yeah, a loving patience, and I was already a patient person, just outright. But the patience, walking in, case in point, coming from the gym, he run up to me, but I noticed he got a wet spot on his shirt and his pants, and I say, did you pee on yourself? I'm asking direct questions, but it's not what I've seen in certain cases with, maybe my aunties and something with my cousins. Like, you done peed on yourself? You too old for that? Da, da, da. No, it's, did you pee on yourself? No, don't say you think you had an accident. Just be straight and say you had an accident. Let's change you out of this. That a loving I'm not raising my voice over this. That's crazy.
Right.
And now he triggered and scared. Like, no, I'm already involved in his life to where he respects me.
Yeah.
I don't need him fear me for what? For being a kid? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'll just say a loving patience and just being an affectionate father, because I grew up with that too, having an affectionate father, and not being afraid to love on my son, because society might not do it, but he could get it from me from a manly perspective too. Yeah. So it's just, I think those are some of the biggest things that being a dad to a boy has taught me.
Yeah.
I definitely say the same thing. Patience. And I, like Phil said, I think I was an extremely patient person beforehand, but having a little girl, you got to slow all the way down. You really have to slow down. You have to be mindful of your words.
Yeah.
And then even with that, her mother and I are very, very cognizant of, she's our princess, right? When she walks out of those doors, she's not everybody's princess.
Yeah.
So we're conscious of making sure that she understands it, right? So it's like, I gotta love you as much as I can, but also I gotta prepare you for this world.
That's right.
So when you get out of here, you ain't everybody. For everybody don't love you like we love everybody. You know what I mean? So it's a fine line with that too. So it takes a lot of patience, Then sometimes it's some stuff I'm like, you all right? You all right? And I know a couple times she looked at me like, yeah, but can I get a hug? I'm like, all right, I give you a hug, but you all right? Like,
you gonna be fine.
Yeah, go over there. You good? So just slowing down and realize, all right, you can't approach it like that with everything. So just slowing down, being patient, and then really kind of being in tune to her, and just seeing what her needs are, So yeah, but I would definitely say patience and just slowing down.
That's good. Yeah, I know my sons, they show me who I am, right? Like when I watch them and I see them, sometimes I see myself in them, good and bad. I'd be like, oh, that looked familiar. I don't like that. So what am I going to do with that? Yeah. Right? Like, sometimes my oldest is very much, if he don't get his way, he don't want to have nothing to do with it. He's baby in bathwater. It's like, I can't have it this way. Forget the whole thing. I don't have nothing to do with it. And I'm like, sometimes on the inside, I'm mature enough, but on the inside, I feel that way. I'd be like, I don't just forget it. Just forget the whole thing. I'm gonna go home. And that's why I'm like, oh, I recognize that. So how can I parent that out of him so that you can feel that way, but that you don't articulate it or you don't do like and make bad decisions because your emotions are out. So really just trying to help him regulate his emotions. And just making sure that, you know, I can help with that. I don't know. My kids have taught me a lot about me. Like sometimes I feel like I'm looking at a mirror, good, bad, and ugly. And so it's a fun journey. But my last question I'm gonna ask you guys, and it could be different, but Phil, I don't know if you've started dating or not, Milton, but Phil, have you started dating? And if so, when you do start, if you haven't, when do you think is a good time to introduce your child to your significant other? Like what's that look like? Or if you haven't started or when you will start, like what are the things that you're looking for? Like, okay, I feel comfortable enough to introduce my child to this person.
Well, you want to see, I think personally it's about how do I feel that this person is going to be about me. And let's say like right now, I'm not dating. Like I'm not right now. I don't really care for it right now.
We'll talk about that on another episode.
Right. But
the world saw it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I will say I'm probably just more wanting to see like how does this person feel about just me, just period to the core, because that's the trust I'm gonna have on how they how can I put it? That's the trust I'm gonna have and how they see how I move and navigate that situation. I didn't want to almost use the word control. It's not a control thing.
Yeah.
It's really just a matter of how do I handle myself within it. So as long as I can see that they could trust how I handle myself within it, then that's going to be smooth, because the next phase of it is these two women being able to communicate at some level if it's a stronger relationship leading towards marriage. And then I would ultimately say, like, if I fall in love with somebody, then I'm looking at them meeting each other and all that kind of stuff. But I haven't been fortunate to go down that pathway yet. So
it's coming, don't worry.
Yeah, it'll get there in due time. But I would say, like, I just need to see how these people, go move around with me first before I say that's the one I want, and then see how she, kind of our because I think it can be the same way back and forth, like with her being a mom and having, maybe she, the father is out here somewhere locally and I got to meet him. So I just want to see how we would move around with these situations within one another, and then how we go team up and be a team about it too, just to keep each other protected as well.
Yeah. And I think guys see it differently than women. So that's why I'm curious of your perspective. Milton, what about you? I don't know where you're at with it, but
so I think very similar to what it feels. I see it as a lot of different moving parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been able to see people close to me do something similar, and a couple of people told me like, I don't like the way I did it. I dated a lot of people. I introduced them to my child, and then it didn't work out. So it's like, child's like in high school now. My child saw me date a whole lot of people. And I don't know how much I like it now that he's older. I wish I can go back and change it. So I think there's a lot of moving parts with that. So I think when it comes to somebody that I actually like fall in love with, then I think I would try to bring my child into the fold and everything else. But I also want to have a conversation with our mother as well. Because like Phil said, we all got to figure this out. We got to work it out. And in my mind, I want it to be as smooth as possible. But I think she would probably be the last person. It should be the last piece of the puzzle. To be, to be introduced to that person. So yeah. But I think just protecting, because the other thing is this: I understand that I'm going to be the first example of a man that she knows, right? In whatever relationship that is. So I'm very mindful of that, how I move and everything else is I'm the first example of how a man is going to treat her. So what I do is what she sees. So like I said, I think she would be the last piece of the puzzle, when that day comes.
Do you think that women introduce their significant other quicker than the guys introduce a significant other?
I have no idea. I'm just gonna be. I don't
That's
know.
fair. Like, do you think?
I don't know.
No, I think women are more hesitant. I think women take a little more time and
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure every situation is different.
Yeah.
Nothing is
And I got a
cookie
little
cutter,
girl. So like
yeah.
I'm that's gonna be rough. You know
It's
what I
gonna be
mean?
rough
The
for
fact I got a little
girl.
girl and it's gonna be a woman, that's
way different.
I'm definitely, and she
My son, he I'm like, I asked him, I said, and then we're gonna wrap it up. I said, can mama get a boyfriend? He was like, what you need a boyfriend for? I was like, you gonna be gone soon? Like, he was like, I mean, what you need to do that for? I'm like, got it. This will be fun. This will be fun. All right. Well, thank y'all for joining today. Hopefully you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you, Milton and Phil, for joining us talking about co-parenting from the dad's perspective. And of course, for the audience, we hope you guys enjoyed it today. One question I want to leave with you is, what are some of the biggest lessons of co-parenting or perhaps goals of co-parenting going forward that you can implement or that you learn perhaps from today that you can take into your next conversation? Again, hopefully you enjoyed it. We look forward to leave me something in the comments and we will talk to you soon. Have a good one, y'all.